Awesome. Welcome everybody to the Hives for Heroes National Network monthly meetup. We do these every month on the first Tuesday or the second Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m. CST. So hopefully wherever you are, it's not too late or too early for you. So welcome. Again, Hives for Heroes. We are the National Beekeeping Network. Just so excited about all the people that have come into the organization within the past month or so. So there's going to be a lot of new faces on this call. Really excited to meet with you guys, meet you in person at some point as well. Again, I'm Steve, and we run Hives for Heroes. Today, we have an amazing guest who is literally saving lives with honey. Dr. Ozturk is from UTSA. He will be joining us today, and I know a lot of you are here for this. To me, he is like a world-renowned guy when it comes to the medicinal properties of honey. He's just a great educator, a great person, and we're excited to have him here. As usual, we have two giveaways. We're going to do our $100 gift card giveaways at the 45-minute mark. So please remember that you must be present to win, and we'll do some comments later on inside of the chat so that you can see it. And we're just excited that you're here. Looking forward to seeing what Dr. Ozturk has to say. If you're in the chat right now, let us know who you are. Let us know where you're from. See how things are going in your areas. Please chat as much as you possibly want to. I know y'all are going to meet people in areas that are close to you probably, and that's really, really cool. So again, this whole organization is about connecting you to resources in your area, people in your area, education that you need. And we just love doing this, connecting people, nature, and technology to make the world a better place. And we do that together. Massive collaborating organization. We work with organizations all throughout the United States, whether that's state, local, federal, whatever kind of governments you'd like to work with, because that's what we've been doing very recently. But also bee supply stores, university professors, just people that are practical experts in their fields, commercial beekeepers, etc. So we love and we love to connect and love to share, and then let you follow your own journey, the journey that you select that you want to do. As you start learning more, you start figuring out what you like and don't like, and it continues to grow your passion in bees. So we're providing access, resources, and funding to those military members, first responders, a lot of people in the community. So what do we mean by access? So that's access to the network. You have over 7,000 people in a network that you're able and willing to reach out to that will actually answer you back, which is really cool. You'll meet people in your local areas. You'll meet people all across the country. When you travel, you get to see some of these people. Valerie and Alda just did that in Alaska, which was pretty cool. You're going to get access to mentorship as is available in your area. So this is geographically and availability based. And our goal is to connect you as a newbie to a mentor in your local area. We do have a minimum of mentors right now. We have a huge influx from the VA article, which is awesome. So please, please be patient as we work to get you connected in your local area. We try to get you within 30 miles so that you're actually able to create that relationship. A lot of people even do dinner together, not just bees, but just life, which is pretty awesome. And of course, you have access to all the things that are on the website, including the amazing resources. We work with the master beekeeping programs. We work with the state beekeeping associations, local beekeeping associations, which we highly recommend that you join immediately, right? You get into Hives for Heroes. The first thing that we're going to do is go to your local community, figure out who's in your area, the resources that you have available, and we'll walk by your side, but it's really important to have that hands-on practical application with the education piece. So you're constantly learning and constantly going into those hives. But when you're new, you might go into them a little too much or not enough, and you don't know yet. So we encourage you not to get bees your first year. We'd like you to get with a mentor, work with them for a year, have the responsibility on those mentors of the life and care of those bees. I know for the first time when I lost a hive, I literally cried in my backyard because I thought I couldn't even do this. And so the bees were able to help me. My mentor was able to help me to get through that and get to the place that we are now, where we have hundreds of hives and thousands of people in an organization that are supporting each other in such an amazing way. And then funding. So we do scholarships. There's two different scholarships that are massive for us, is the BU scholarship and the Be More scholarship. All this information is on the website. The BU scholarship is focused on education. So all the master beekeeping programs that you would like to go to, there's 13 of them on the website. And when you pay to go to these organizations and you pass, we reimburse you to get you to the next level. So at the end of the period of time in your education, there's going to be no money out of your pocket, but you got to put some skin in the game. We don't just give stuff out. This is an earned organization. When we have donors and people that come in, they like the fact that we are reimbursing and not just giving out money and people don't show up. So don't be one of those people. Go out there, get your education from the finest institutions in the United States, and then we will reimburse you for that. Also, you have access clearly to our network. Again, massive on the Facebook group page. If you put something out on the Facebook group page, I would be surprised if you did not get a comment or a like or a share or things of that nature on the group page. Everybody is extremely friendly, extremely helpful, which is just awesome to be a part of the organization. And then, of course, these YouTubes. So we get to bring to you people that really know what they're talking about and have a passion for their industry and in their area. So you're talking about Dr. Ozturk is passionate about the honey and the medicinal properties of honey. We've had other people on that are passionate about their things, and we love to have them share what they do throughout the beekeeping areas. And then please, if you find any value in this, please like, subscribe, and share. Comment as much as you would like to, and share this with other people. You never know who's going to need this as a resource or who's connected to you that might like beekeeping or just be interested in beekeeping. So please subscribe, like, comment, and share. And then, of course, click the bell on the screen. That'll give you alerts for when it's happening. So again, second Tuesday, 7 p.m. That's what we're doing here for a national monthly meetup. Again, our goal is to connect you to a mentor in your local area, and this is based on availability. So since we have a lot of newbies here, I just want to reemphasize, Charlie's going to give an update real quick, and we are working to get you connected with people in your area. But we also need your help. Going to the beekeeping associations, talking in beekeeping clubs, we need more mentors throughout the United States. It's a must. This is how we work. This is how we do things. And trust me, when you get that mentor in your life, it is life-changing. It is incredible the amount of stories that come to us and through us from just matching people up in their local areas that might have never met each other. And so if you're a newbie here, please ask those people to go to the connect, the join us page on the hivesforheroes.org. There's a join us page. And once you apply, that's going to trigger our connect team. Charlie leads our connect team. Again, we're always looking for a one-to-one match within 30 miles to support your actual beekeeping adventures. We call it a journey. It's really quite awesome. We have 4 core values that we focus on, which is connection, connecting you to somebody in your area, connecting to nature, and also connecting back to yourself. Finding purpose bigger than yourself. Bees have a wonderful way of showing us that. Building healthy, accountable relationships, and serving others in a capacity that is just life-changing and impacts your community, your family, your community, and everybody around. Again, we have tons of resources throughout the United States, including the state, local, and national organizations. Please go to the resource page on the website. You will find more information there. And again, those scholarships are going to be there for you. Please take advantage of those. Those are things that we have done strategically to understand that you make your choice. You choose your journey, whether you're going to University of Florida, whether you're going to University of Montana, whatever that looks like for you. There's specialties in those areas. And it could be that you want to be online. It could be that you want to go commercial. It could be that you want to be regional. There's all sorts of options for you. So read up on them. Again, we've given out over $50,000 since 2022. We're going to do a lot more money this year as well. We want you to see where those dollars are going and who they are impacting. So these go to second-year beekeepers on the Be More Scholarship, and the BU Scholarship is open to anyone. So now we have Mr. Charlie McMaster that is here giving us a nice connection update.
Hey, guys. Folks, Connection's been fun over the past month and a few more days. We've been busting our butts to get folks paired up with a vendor in their area. Over the last 2 weeks, we've done over 175 mentors and newbies, getting them picked. Usually our baseline is 1-to-1. Well, a couple cases, a couple mentors saying I can do more than one. And as long as they, as long as they can tell me they can, I'm going to find another newbie in their area to give to them. So we're working as efficiently and as prosperously as we can for our members. So Steve talked before about having about 7,000 folks in the organization as resources for us to put and take from and to and with. Use those resources. If you've got a question, do not hesitate to reach back to connect@hivesforheroes.org. If you've got a pairing email and you haven't heard anything from either the mentor or the newbie, connect@hivesforheroes.org, and I'll work it backwards and find out what's going on. Yes, technology and that funny flipping thing they call an algorithm has put a lot of our email into junk and spam folders in their email boxes. Let me know. I'll pick up the phone. I'll call. And for those of you that have done that, we're working it. Now, I'll leave at least a voicemail to say, okay, what's going on? Can we help? Are you still interested? Want to make sure you're taken care of. I want to make sure both sides are accommodated. It's fun to make actual physical contact with somebody, whether it's from Wisconsin, Wyoming, Nebraska, Oregon, Washington. Take your pick of all 50 states plus a couple of the other areas like Washington, D.C. But get out there and don't feel that you're not getting any service. If you haven't heard, don't throw up your hands and decide, well, I'll just deal with it. Pass it back. Pass it back. I'll work it. We will work it, and we'll find out what's going on. And if it turns into be a dry hole, I'll find another newbie or tell you what's going on if we don't find another newbie, and we'll get that accommodated. Again, like to introduce or at least notify you guys of, we have 2 more state leaders, Glenn Cook out of South Carolina and Renee Henning out of Wisconsin, have just joined our organization. Happy to have them, happy to see them, happy to offload some work to them. Appreciate that, and they're going to do great things for us. Also doing some interviews for some other state support people. I was just talking to Bracken in Utah just before we came in here. Great start, great understanding what's necessary, wants to help, and we're going to put him to work. Not going to have him, leave the family, done work for us full time and in a sweatshop. He's got bees. He's got a family life. He's got a farm. He's got a full-time job. So we're going to accommodate. Again, I use that big 3-letter word that starts with an A, but we're going to work with folks so that we are able to take care of our folks downrange better than ever before. Okay, Steve, that's about it.
Awesome. Thank you, Charles. You do such a wonderful job with everybody that's on the team. Again, we have state leaders throughout the United States. We have state representatives throughout the United States, and we could not do this without all the support of the volunteers. I mean, we're all volunteers. So in that case, we work our tails off to support you. So, and all we ask is for you to please be patient with us as we continue to work to better serve you. At the end of the day, we need more mentors again. So we can't connect anybody if we don't have mentors. If you go into your networks, share this. We need mentors. And although we're a beekeeping organization, as everybody knows, those that are familiar with us, we're truly a people organization, right? We utilize bees as a conduit to heal. We use bees as a conduit to talk to each other and to connect and to learn and to share and have a plan moving forward. At the end of the day, we keep guns out of mouths by working with bees and working with each other. That's who we are. That's the core of our organization. We focus on people and collaboration. We don't need competition. Competition's for weak stuff. We work with anybody and everybody that would like to work with us throughout the United States. Got amazing partnerships, amazing collaborations, and they're going to continue to grow as we get to serve you guys. And always remember as well, you don't have to be an expert in everything, dude. Progress over perfection. Learn over time. 1% gain is incredible. This is how we've been able to establish an organization that cares about people and works on progress. We didn't know anything to begin with. And I promise, if you're me and you're reading 100 books, you still don't know anything until you get to that hive. So just utilize the knowledge and experience of the network, and then make the best choices, safe choices for you to make your journey as awesome as it possibly can be. Again, if you love this stuff, please subscribe, like, comment, and share. You have the alert button there as well, so you know when these things are happening. And now I am so happy to introduce one of my friends, which I really, really enjoy spending time with. He is at the University of Texas, San Antonio. He is to me, a world-renowned individual in medicinal honey, the properties of honey, the benefits of honey, how it supports you, how it supports your health, how it can support things that you wouldn't even think of, because it can actually replace traditional medication that you might even have side effects to and allergic to. So Dr. Ferhat Ozturk is just an incredible person. And I'm so glad to have you here, which is so good, as you are literally saving lives with honey. I just want you to go ahead and introduce yourself and start sharing.
Thank you so much, Steve. I'm honored to be here. I'm so pleased with your introduction. So I'm so also be honored to be your friend. I mean, for last 3-4 years, I believe. Yeah. So since we met at the TBA meetings and conventions and summer clinics, so we always have good memories. And again, it's one of my few live screens. So sorry if I'm overexcited or so. I had some computer problems today, so I'm on my iPad. Anyways, so my name is Ferhat Ozturk, and I'm an associate professor of instruction at the Integrated Biology of UTSA, University of Texas, San Antonio. And I had my PhD in cellular and molecular biology from University of Nevada, Reno. I think we have some Nevadan guests today. And then I went to University of Nebraska Medical Center for my postdoc, and also Creighton University in Omaha. And then I was an assistant professor and department chair in Turkey in molecular biology and genetics. So eventually I came to San Antonio, and then I joined the UTSA in January 22. So it's my third year now, and I'm teaching medicinal properties of honey as a class for my undergraduate students. I think some of my students are already in the audience now, so they're excited to hear what I'm going to tell in the Hives for Heroes. So so I'm teaching this as a class to educate the students how to become a scientist in a year, as they analyze the local Texan honey, and then they find out their bioactivity potential through antimicrobial and antioxidant activities through measuring them. And the good news is that, I mean, we are preparing certificates for the beekeepers that will be delivered this Saturday at the TBA Summer Clinic. So anybody from Texas hearing this, please join us in Allen, Texas this Saturday, and pick up your honey analysis certificate, which is pretty shiny paper. So yeah, that's what our update is. And then again, I'll be presenting this Saturday about the updates from the Texas honey analysis. And I would like to acknowledge my honey pathway students for last 2 years. Actually, they contributed significantly to this project, and also they become my main motivation to keep studying about the medicinal properties of honey. So that's about me.
No, I mean, it's just, man, people can see you on a screen, but it's really hard to share the energy and the passion in which you have over a screen. Because when you're in person, oh my gosh, it's almost overwhelming how passionate you are about this piece, because you've helped and taught so many people this. And you're one of those people that it's like, oh, medicinal properties of honey. Yeah. But people go and watch it and they're enthused, because it's the ability to like take AAA antibiotic away from your kids and put honey on it. Right. And you're going, wait a minute, this doesn't really make sense. So you have this project, the Honey Pathway Project, which I believe is a grant. Is that correct?
Yes, it is funded by USDA's Next Gen program. So it's a 5-year program that we are establishing to educate our students about beekeeping and medicinal honey, and as well as, honeybee biology. So, and it is a $2.9 million support from the Next Gen program of the USDA.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of money. That's $3 million to go change the world in a really cool aspect. Can you share a little bit about what is the medicinal properties of honey, and how can we, just right here in this circle, benefit from that by even learning or sharing that with our friends?
I mean, honey has been a medicine for thousands of years, and honey has been used by every civilization on Earth for its medicinal benefits. So honey was a medicine more than a food for thousands of years. I mean, all around the world, So you can name like the Hittites, the Sumerians, the Chinese, Indian, Greeks, Romans, Anatolians, even Africans, Latin Americans. They all used honey for medical purposes. Even the Hippocrates and Galen and Avicenna, which are the triplicates of the medicine, like father of and king of medicine, those people, they have several recipes that they use honey for different for ailments. So, and since the advent of antibiotics, like early 20th century, so honey has been a little bit put aside because of there are so many abuse of the conventional contemporary medicine at that time, and then or also traditional medicine. So honey was put aside until 1990s, and since 1990s, last 30 years, there are like thousands of papers that has been published about different medicinal properties of honey. Like it can start from wound healing, which is #1 wound healing agent in the world for thousands of years without any antimicrobial resistance. And the other part is it's an antiseptic, antibacterial agent. So there are more than 600 bacteria tried against honey, and then they couldn't find out any resistance to the honey yet. So, and because honey is attacking the bacteria from different ways. Mm-hmm. And then it's honey's antioxidant. It is helping us, our cells to clean out the free radicals, which cause diseases such as cardiovascular disease, neurological diseases. So honey can help us, our cells, to keep young all the time. And then also, honey is very helpful for gastrointestinal diseases. Like, for example, it is being used for colitis, irritable bowel syndrome, diarrhea, constipation, even ulcer. So it has been used for treatment of several gastrointestinal tract diseases. Honey can help with the acne in the youth. And also, Rosa said that you have mentioned. So honey can help with those, that it is an antiseptic agent, so it clears up the bacteria. It also anti-inflammatory, which is suspending the inflammation in that area. So all these properties of honey is making a unique product that can be used for various diseases. But it is not like easy to talk like directly, okay, honey is a medicine that's used for this and that. No, we really need evidence-based support for this. So because we need to talk scientifically about this, so we need to do like cell studies, animal studies, clinical trials, and eventually we can start putting honey from bench to bedside. So, and again, there are so many trials going on using honey for different diseases, for treatment of different ailments. So again, we can name a few more diseases that honey can be used, but if you want to ask specific ones, I'll be happy to answer those. Or how do you want to proceed?
Yeah, yesterday I texted you because one of my friends was having some rosacea issues. And so I was like, honey, might as well like at least ask the question, right? And just go with an easy response, like wash with a gentle soap, warm water, let it dry, put honey on it for 30 minutes, and then remove the honey because clearly it's water soluble. And I was like, man, that is so easy. Now I could have to go to the store and get some what could be harmful to me even, right? Some harmful stuff, or takes a long time and things like that. But, it goes, like you said, from the gut to like rosacea. Like it's pretty insane to me how beneficial it is in so many different facets.
Yeah, honey's major role, after discussing about this, after doing some research about this, and also having discussions with my students and other apprentices. So I realized that honey is the main objective of honey is to maintain homeostasis, the balance inside our body. So disease is defined as imbalance in anything. Like, for example, when you have diabetes, you have imbalance of insulin and glucose in your body. Or when you have neurological diseases, you have an imbalance of serotonin or dopamine or other neurotransmitters. Or when you have imbalance on your blood vessels, then you may end up with cholesterol or stroke or other things. So basically, when there's an imbalance in our body is trying to fix it by itself. And in this case, honey is helping our body to maintain this balance and to keep this balance up. So that's why honey can help for various diseases, like from gastrointestinal to the to the antibacterial diseases, or it can also help with the diabetes. Like so many people, I don't know if someone might have already asked this question in the audience, but honey is a low glycemic index food, which means that it will not spike your blood glucose, very quickly. So when you have like glucose or other, candy or chocolate, so your blood glucose goes a big spike and then goes down very quickly. But when you consume honey, and most of the honey is which low glycemic index, it's gonna go slowly and it will make a plateau and it will go down slowly. So by this way, honey is infusing or like mixing with your blood glucose slowly, and it will remain there a little bit longer, and then eventually it will be cleared out. And I had some friends who use those insulin, the meters on their arms. So after they consume honey, they keep measuring their glucose levels, and then they see that like their glucose level doesn't go up when you consume the honey. But when you eat chocolate or candies, it will just spike up very quickly. So again, I'm not a medical doctor. I cannot recommend medical advice to change your carbohydrates with honey, but you can always discuss with your dietitian or medical professional to use low glycemic index honey instead of some of the carbohydrates, and still you can have a healthy diet, and then you can also enjoy the honey with its sweetness.
Yeah, I have utilized that from learning from you, because I'll give like a sample of honey to somebody. They're like, "Oh no, I have diabetes," and I'm like, "Oh, let me tell you something about what I know about honey. It might actually be able to serve you in a really cool capacity." Dr. Ozturk, man, we got people from all over the place here. We got Georgia, Virginia, Montana, Louisiana, Wisconsin, Washington. Here's a lot of Georgia here. That's great. South Carolina, Tennessee. Virginia again, lots of Virginia, Colorado Springs, Florida, Milwaukee. Golly, there's people from all over the country here coming here to see you, which I love, because you give speeches all over as well. Clearly, you're in Texas, so that's very close for you. You do have a couple questions here. One of them, Jason asks, is there any research on the medicinal uses of pollen?
Yes, I mean, actually, basically using the bee products is called apitherapy. So let me introduce that. Probably most of you know about this, this phrase, but apitherapy is using any apis, like any honeybee product, for therapeutic purposes. So bee pollen is one of them, but based on my studies and also based on my learnings, that the bee pollen itself is not very bioavailable to our body, because bee pollen hardens very quickly. When you expose it to the air, it dries out. And when you consume the pollen as a dry pollen, it will just be removed from your gastrointestinal system very quickly. Like as you eat the watermelon seeds, you just, excrete them. The same thing for the hard pollen. So, but you need to consume pollen fresh. But do you know how the bees consume pollen, Steve? So pollen is the protein source of the bees, but bees do not consume pollen as is. So what they do is they got the pollen, they collect them from the plants, they bring them home to the hive, and then they pack them into the cells of the inside the comb. And when they are packing them, they add some fungi in it. So this fungus will ferment the pollen, and then it will make, what? It make a bee bread. So bee bread is fermented pollen, and then bee bread is more bioavailable, more eatable for human consumption. So again, it's not very easy to collect the bee bread, because you need to go to cell by cell and then consume that. But when you study bee bread and the pollen, the bee bread has more medicinal potential compared to the pollen. That's a major difference. And the other thing is that when you do the studies in the lab or in the animals, most of the time the pollen that is provided is either fresh pollen or it is like some kind of processed pollen. But our body cannot digest the pollen as we process in the lab. So that's why the lab studies may not reflect exactly the medicinal properties of the pollen. Again, my recommendation is for this one, if you can get Perga, which is Perga. So Perga is the bee bread. So if you can get Perga and then consume it, it will be more beneficial than the pollen. But yes, pollen is rich in protein and lipids, so it can help our body for antiseptic and other properties.
Awesome. I'm over here trying to get all these questions in order for you because there's a lot of questions for you. This is pretty
okay.
cool. Man, I've just a few more shout outs. Texas, Connecticut, New York, Michigan, New Jersey, Kentucky, Indiana, Pennsylvania, California. I mean, literally people are represented from all over the place. And there's a few of them that have been saying thank you to Charlie. Charlie, great job for connecting. They've met with their mentors for their first time. So that is just amazingly cool. So we have one from Matt. He asks, have you done any studies on propolis and its uses?
I did not personally work on the propolis because my focus for the last 13 years is about the honey, because there's a lot to study about honey, so I don't have a chance. But there are so many articles that I have read about propolis. I was able to read the reviews and also some scientific articles. So propolis, the name is coming from protecting the city, like propolis in the Greek. So basically the bees are using propolis to fill the cracks and crevices inside their hive. And as well as in the nature, bees are covering when they're in a tree, like when they go into an empty log, so they cover it with the propolis because propolis is an antiseptic agent. So bees, they care for their own health as well because it's a superorganism. The honeybees are a superorganism and they need to keep this superorganism healthy. So propolis is helping them to get rid of the bacteria and fungi that can cause disease in the bees. So for this reason, I mean, bees use the propolis for the hive health or for the colony health. On the other hand, as human beings, when we collect the propolis, so we cannot consume it very easily because propolis is a resin product from the trees, and this resin is lipid soluble or alcohol soluble, so it is not soluble in water. So that's why it may not be very helpful to chew the propolis directly because you may not like digest all of it. So, and there are a couple of different ways of preparing the propolis for consumption. The most common way is making a tincture out of it. So you can dilute the propolis in ethanol or isopropyl alcohol, and then which is kind of consumable alcohols. And then you can make a tincture and you can use it for a throat spray because most common use of propolis is as a throat spray because it is helpful as an anti-inflammatory and antibacterial agent. So, and again, propolis has been used significantly during the COVID time because COVID is a respiratory disease, and then propolis throat sprays are helping our immune system to become boosted, and as well as to kill most of these pathogens in our throat way or in our respiratory path. So another way is that propolis is also antiseptic, so antibacterial. So propolis also being used as a wound healing agent for hundreds or even thousands of years. Like honey is number one, propolis is number two, I would say. So it is also very common use for those. And other properties are, again, it's an anti-inflammatory. It can help the inflammation in the wounds, so it can help those treatments. And I think these are the major uses of propolis for human health, as far as I remember.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. We have one from Ralph. He's out in Connecticut. He's our state leader out there. He asks, what is the maximum heat that we can use before we reduce the medicinal properties of our honey? So how much
is a great question.
The benefits?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question because unfortunately, most of the honeys in the grocery stores, they are heated above the limits. So remember, honey is not only sugar. So honey has 76% sugar, which is basically glucose, fructose, sucrose, maltose, tronose, and some other sugars. So 76% sugar and about 18 to 20% water. But other than that, we have we have 0.5%. There are some minerals and enzymes inside the honey. So when the honeybees are making honey, they put some live enzymes which will continue to cure the honey, continue to digest or invert the sucrose into glucose and fructose. And also they have other enzymes like diastase, which is like telling us the honey is completely, become a honey. It's not a nectar anymore. And the other one is glucose oxidase, which is a very important enzyme for the antibacterial property of the honey. Because glucose oxidase is the enzyme that will convert the glucose and water into gluconic acid and hydrogen peroxide. So hydrogen peroxide is a wound cleaning agent. So normally we use hydrogen peroxide in the wound clinics, so to clean the wound. but it is about 3 to 6%. So, but this is too much for our body, because when you are cleaning the bacteria, we are also killing our own cells, which are just being renewed in the wound area. That's why when you add hydrogen peroxide, you add water very quickly to rinse it. But the hydrogen peroxide produced in honey is very limited amount, and then it is about 0.3%. So this is enough to kill the bacteria, but it doesn't harm the human cells, because it is not too concentrated to kill the human cells or the damaged human cells. So it is strong enough to kill the bacteria. So this enzyme, glucose oxidase, is an active enzyme. So it is a live enzyme. So when you heat the honey at high temperatures, so the enzymes get denatured. As you may recall from the biology class, so the enzymes work best at 37 degrees Celsius or 96 Fahrenheit. But when the enzymes are heated above 50 degrees or 55 degrees, then they get denatured. So when the enzymes get denatured, it will not get reversed anymore. So the enzyme is non-functional. So when you heat the honey to over 120 Fahrenheit, so then you are killing, 125, I'm sorry, you're gonna start killing the enzymes, and the most of the medicinal properties of honey will be lost, which is sourcing from the enzymes. And the other thing is that we don't put honey into very hot drinks, like very hot coffee, very hot tea, very hot water. We don't put honey into those, particularly to protect the enzymes. So the temperature to put honey into those beverages is that, like, if your mouth can carry it, like if your mouth doesn't burn from it, the honey will not burn from it either. Or you can use your pinky finger. If you can put your pinky finger in your coffee or tea, if you can resist, honey will resist as well. So that's the kind of the 50 degrees temperature, 50 to 55. So then it is drinkable temperature, and the honey can survive, or the enzymes inside the honey can survive at the temperatures.
Yeah, that's another one where I share with people. They're like, "Oh, I get coffee in my honey all the time." And one of our friends out here, he's an awesome guy, Army retired. And he's always telling people, "No, man, just take a teaspoon every morning. It's so delicious. Yeah. That's the way to do it." And he's another passionate individual, and goes out there and he's just like, "No, man, you don't want to do that." It's real fun. He was over today. He's such a hoot. Jared asks, "Does commercial honey have medicinal properties, or is it lost when processed?" So I think you answered a little bit about that.
Yes. I mean, we recently had a project that we recently almost completed a project. And again, I will share these results in the TBA summer clinic. So we compared about 40 grocery store honeys in San Antonio, and we compared them with the local honeys that we collected from local beekeepers. So the local beekeeper honey, they have about 5 times more bioactivity when compared to grocery store honeys. So grocery store honey is about 13 to 14% bioactivity, which means that they have antimicrobial, antioxidant properties high. But when we look at the local honeys, so when we, like local beekeeper honeys, they're about 67% of them are highly bioactive. So which gives us a clear indication that the grocery store honeys, they are, processed with heat. Most of them are filtered, because most of the honey packers filter their honey through a diatomaceous earth and to remove the pollen. So when you remove the pollen, it will not crystallize. So when it doesn't crystallize, you can sell the honey for longer term. But if you leave the honey by itself, it will eventually crystallize because of the presence of pollen and glucose molecules. So they will make small crystals. So in order to avoid crystallization, honey is heated. And then also, because if you don't heat honey, you cannot filter it. So the other thing is, like, I always stay away from the word pure honey, because pure honey means that it is filtered and heat processed. So I would always go with raw honey or unfiltered raw honey. It is much safer when compared to pure honey. And the other thing is that, yes, grocery store honeys can be blended with other honeys, because according to USDA regulations, as long as the honey is not adulterated with glucose syrup or other syrups, the honey is okay. So the USDA or FDA do not look for blending honey with other honeys. So, and then as you may know, like in the US, only 20% of the honey consumed in US is produced in US. 80% are imported. So which means that, like, when you eat honey, it says grade A honey when you go to the grocery store. Sometimes they write the source, like they say it's from Brazil or Uruguay, Ukraine, Argentina, India, Vietnam. So they will list those names. But most of the time, honey companies, they don't put the name there, but most of the time it is mixed with other honeys. And then we don't know how those honeys are treated, like if they are heated or not, because they just come. And again, our customs do not check for heating or pollen removal. These are not, most of the time, these are not checked on the customs. I mean, I may be wrong, but this is kind of when they come in, they can be blended. The other problem with that one is, so the honey, the Texan honey, or let's say the honey produced by the US beekeepers, it is about $3 per pound. But in the what's called the wholesale
market,
so by the corporations. But when you buy honey from Argentina or from Vietnam or other import honey, it is $40 per cent. So like if you're a honey packer, you would buy $3 per pound, or you would buy 40 cents per pound. Yeah. And you just mix them. You got like, maybe you got 80 tons of, you know, the imported honey and 20 tons of US honey, and you mix them, and you can still sell it as US grade A honey. Yeah. So unfortunately, in the grocery stores, it is not very easy to find high bioactive honey or high medicinal property honey. So that's why I always recommend the people who listen to me, I always tell them, buy local honey from a local beekeeper and buy comb honey. So the comb honey is the one that nobody has touched it after the bees. So comb honey is sterile honey, which is made by the bees, sealed by the bees, and human beings did not remove it. They can cut it, that's okay, but that's the comb honey, local honey. And for medical purposes as well, I would recommend buy the fall harvest, not the spring harvest, because fall harvest is, most of the time it is darker. And then the darker the color of the honey, the higher antioxidant potential of the honeys. So local, dark, fall season, and then comb honey are, that's what I recommend. And again, different, the beekeeper organizations, again, sometimes people ask how I'm going to find the local honey. It's like, you got to go farmer's market or so. No, you can go to beekeeper associations websites, and also the Hives for Heroes. So you can just connect those people, and then you can buy local honey directly from the producers.
Yeah, every time you speak, I learn so much from you. Like, I have already like 3 other questions that I want to ask you based on just those things. And I know a lot of people are kind of watch this one over again as well, because there's a lot of information that you're sharing. I wanted to go back real quick. So 20% of our honey crop, like our honey harvest here, is U.S. honey. 80% is from overseas. That's huge.
Yes.
Which leads into Laura's question: with the current shortage of U.S. honey, how can we balance this with the additional needs for medicinal research and uses?
So again, there are 2 options. You can have the honey at home. One is for your breakfast or for your coffee, but the other is one for your medical purposes. So if you would like to focus on like kind of producing medical grade honey or having, like high bioactivity honey, you may want to like keep your bees in less pesticide exposed area, like less agricultural areas, because when your bees are exposed to pesticides, there may be some leftovers. But again, we in our research, we don't check for the pesticides directly. But on the other hand, most of our beekeepers would have learned about the Manuka honey. So I don't know if you have ever compared the Manuka honey's price with the local honeys. So when you go to the farmer market, or like you can sell your honey $10, maybe $12 per pound, right? So this is what the local beekeepers are selling. But if you want to buy Manuka honey from Costco or other places, so it's about like per pound, it's about 10 to 12 times more expensive than the local honey. And why this is very expensive? Because of the research behind it and because of the marketing behind it. Because Manuka honey is marketed as medical grade honey. And now in our research for the last 2 or 3 years, we were able to identify several local honeys that have the same or even exceeding potential compared to the Manuka honey. So for example, one large example is oak honey from the hill country area in close to San Antonio. So oak honey is highly antioxidant and also highly antimicrobial. On the other hand, we have another honey, which is buckwheat honey. Most of the people, they don't like the taste of the honey, or they don't like the smell of the buckwheat, or they don't like the color of it, because it doesn't look like honey, it doesn't taste like honey, it doesn't smell like honey, because it's a medicine. So buckwheat honey is one of the highest antioxidant potential honeys in the US. Another one is an invasive species, which is spotted lanternfly. So mostly available in the northeastern of the U.S., like the Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and Virginia, those areas. So they have spotted lanternfly, and as you know, bees can collect the nectar not only from the flowers, but they can also collect nectar from the excretion of the insects. So those spotted lanternflies, they eat the sap of the the tree, and then they excrete them, and then the honeybees will collect those excretions, which is a highly sugar content, and they make honey out of it. So spotted lanternfly honey is one of the strongest antimicrobial honeys we have measured among our more than 400 samples. So again, I would recommend SLF honey, but again, people don't like the taste of it. People don't like the smell of it. Again, if it doesn't taste like honey, if it doesn't look like honey, if it doesn't smell like honey, it's a good medical honey, I would say.
That's funny. I'm going to do a couple things real quick. Again, if y'all find any value in this content, we have amazing people on this channel. It's awesome. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Share this with your friends. I know there's people in your network that want to know this information, even about the crystallization of honey. I didn't know that before. It's the pollen content, right? Everybody thinks it's just the temperature of which it's at. That's not actually true. There's some really cool stuff in his program. Again, he's going to be at the TBA as well. For the summer conference. So if you want to come
this Saturday, the 15th summer clinic.
And we're going to start our timing for our giveaway. So if you can, put freedom in the comment channel, but only do it once this time. All right, we got blown up last time. It broke the internet. Please do it one time, and we'll start doing our drawing. So just one word, freedom. We love freedom around here. So if you can do that in the comment section. And we still got tons of questions. We're going to run out of time for sure. We definitely want to get to our state leaders as well, but this is incredible that this is happening. We have one from Nicholas and Mark. Both are asking, what is the minimum and maximum honey one should consume?
I mean, in terms of honey consumption, I didn't do any clinical trials directly, but as far as I read from The Honey Revolution, that's the book available on Amazon, written by Dr. Ron Futzmatson. I couldn't remember his full name, but so he's the Honey Revolution. According to his recommendations as a medical doctor, so you may consume, or you are recommended to consume, about 2 tablespoons of honey before going to bed. It will help your body to, the brain food, like your brain will use the honey at night as a resource. And then also he recommends to use the honey in the mornings, another 2 tablespoons. But starting with 2 tablespoons may not be easy for so many people. So the regular, or like the considered amount of honey is like up to 4 tablespoons per day is a good amount. Again, depending on your diet, depending on what type of honey you are consuming, depending on your age, I think this number will change. But at least I would say at least 1 tablespoon honey per day is a good, a good habit.
Okay, that's awesome.
And then I would say medical grade honey again on this level.
And then you mentioned a book called Honey Revolution. We can put these in the notes later.
The Honey Revolution is a great book to, for the people to understand the scientific background or medical background and how honey is being used or have used for different medical purposes.
That's incredible.
Another book that I can highly recommend is 2 Million Blossoms. So, I mean, its name doesn't reflect its content, to be honest, but it is about discovering the medicinal benefits of honey. So the author has, I couldn't remember her name, but the author has collected like so many studies, and it was edited and kind of guided by Professor Peter Mullen. So Professor Peter Mullen is the scientist who discovered the Manuka honey and who made the Manuka honey as as much widespread as today. So wow. He contributed significantly. I mean, may his soul rest in peace. He passed away in 2018, as far as I remember. So, I mean, he is the one contributed significantly about the medical grade honey since 1990s. And he contributed this book as well, wow. The 2 Million Blossoms. And it is a little bit more scientific when compared to the Honey Revolution.
Yeah, I always need books to help me fall asleep, so it'll be totally good to read that one. I'm just kidding.
I mean, that book, you're going to keep reading it. I don't think you can drop it very easily.
All right, and Joseph asks, what does freezing of capped honey do to its health? Is there any changes there?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I practice as well. So once you have comb honey, it is a good practice to freeze it, because you may have some, small hive beetles or larvae that we don't see. And so by freezing them, you can just like end their lives. So it's kind of like it can help you to clean those and when you consume them. But other than that, freezing doesn't lose any of the benefits. Heating harms the honey. Freezing doesn't. So you can freeze and thaw the honey and then just keep consuming, especially for the comb honey.
That is perfect. And our double state leader, Mr. Jim McMahon, he is out of Oregon and lives in Idaho, asks, do you support requiring honey to be listed by source and disclosed if it contains mixtures of non-honey additions?
Definitely. I mean, I would say as soon as you add non-honey mixes, it's not a honey anymore, to be honest, because it should not be labeled as honey anymore. You can say like a sweetener or something like that. If you are adding any kind of syrup into the honey, it is not honey anymore. And I believe this is what the USDA's or FDA's approach when we had the American Beekeeper Federation. So most of the beekeepers, they do not support giving the name honey to these blends or mixes. So they don't deserve the name of honey, to be honest.
Do not deserve it. They didn't put
they do not deserve the word honey for that.
Wow, we are getting amazing questions. Keep going.
What's the first question for that one?
That was, do you support?
Yes, the source of honey should be definitely mentioned, because again, unfortunately, there are lots of like blending or fraudulence going on in the honey business. So I don't know how much the people can, like be honest about this, but yes, it is always better to have where your honey is coming from. And it is very hard to identify the pollen source, to be honest. Like you cannot say, oh, it's sunflower honey or cassia honey, but it is always better to add those, information.
Awesome. Derek Wayne is here in Houston. He's down the road from us. He's actually one of our scholarship recipients last year. Woo-hoo. Great guy, going out and doing removals and rescues, serving the community. It's really, really cool to watch. Derek asks, what do you think of honey and garlic fermentation for medical purposes? And where can we send honey to be tested? Which I know you love that one.
Oh, yes. I mean, I don't have experience with the honey and garlic, to be honest. I know some people recommend honey and garlic for cholesterol. But again, I don't want to talk about the field that I'm not very familiar. So I would leave this to the other people who knows more about this. But in terms of the honey testing, so currently our honey pathway is focusing on local Texas honey. And we analyze the samples directly from the beekeepers. But we are working on a project right now to establish a honey analysis lab. So eventually we will start getting honey samples from, all around the year from the beekeepers. But again, I will be happy to share our submission form Steve, you can share it. So we can have samples in our lab, but I cannot promise them they will be analyzed very quickly. So, and then sometimes we have student projects that some students get extra projects. They analyze more honeys. So I will be happy to, get these analyzed by my assistants in the lab. But again, I cannot promise a very quick turnout for those.
I do love how you do that, because the students that you have are actually writing grants. They're learning how to do from A to Z everything that is going on. And when we met them at the day that we spoke out there, man, they're just such good young people. And just for a reference, this is like white coat lab data stuff, right?
Oh,
this is controlled environment. Scientists, right, that want to be actual scientists doing this research with you, which is awesome. JB asks if there's a difference in the enzymes between treated and non-treated honey.
You mean like heat treated, or right. What kind of treat? Or
I would say probably something like OA, or actual like treatment for
varroamite or other things. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Again, I did not have a study about this. This year, we are collecting from the beekeepers about their treatment. So, and again, that's another project that we can work on. It's a great idea that we can analyze the diastase and then the invertase and glucose oxidase enzyme in the treated versus non-treated honey. But again, as far as I know, I don't have any data if there's a significant difference among the enzymatic activity or enzymes within the treated versus non-treated ones. But I would recommend, again, I don't know how many of the Hives for Heroes are supporting natural beekeeping, but I'm on the side of natural beekeeping and like minimum treatment, and then leaving it into the treatment kind of natural way, that if the bees survive, that they use the survival stock. So bees are out there for 102 million years. So they were able to survive dinosaurs. They were able to survive the mass extinctions. So they were able to survive so many different, hard stages throughout the life of the earth. So they were here before us. Probably they will be here after us as well. Yeah. So maybe after a couple. So which means that like bees will be able to survive the varroa mites, but I don't know how long it will take. And again, the way that you treat the honeys, or the way that you are like naturally dealing with the honeys, the less problems that I'm getting exposed to. But again, yes, do I lose colonies? Yes, I did. I lose 1 colony this year out of 3. So I don't have so many hives. Now we have 10. We increase it to 10 to 11. Like, be mindful. He's our master beekeeper. And I'd like to say hi to Natalie and Les from here. So they came to our university, and then they educate our students about beekeeping apprenticeship. And they also help us to increase our honey apiary, the bee yard. So now we have, I think, 12 colonies now. And today, with our high school teachers, another part of this honey pathway is we educate the high school teachers about beekeeping, honeybee biology, and medicinal honey, so they can implement these into their high school or even middle schools. So this is another good contribution, to the K through 12 education, I would say. So through educating the teachers. So today with our teachers, we visited the apiary and we opened up some of the hives. And it's our Instagram page. It is UTSA Honey Pathway. So if you at UTSA Honey Pathway is our Instagram page if you want to follow there.
Yeah, it's awesome because like my kiddos, they start learning this stuff and they're like, wait a minute, what's in our food? Like, what is actually in our food? And they start asking questions, and I really enjoy that because they're taught one thing, school systems and things like that. And you bring them a new way of thinking, and it shifts their perspective on a lot of things, not just their diet. We have one last question. It is from Wade, and he asks, how long is honey good for medicinal use? Is it best used by timing before the bioactivity decreases? So is there like some kind of half-life or something inside of that?
Okay, I would say, as you know, honey, it doesn't have a shelf life. So honey can be eatable for even after 3,000 years. When they found the honey in the King Tut's tomb, so that honey, which is 3,000 years old, it was still eatable. So honey doesn't expire. That's number one. The other thing is for medicinal properties, there are some studies showing that the peroxide activity is like getting lost throughout the years. Like they compared the honeys about within 10 years of frame, and they observed that the hydrogen peroxide activity, which is coming from the glucose oxidase, it is getting lost over the years. So, but again, it was a 10-year study, and it is still there was still activity. In terms of antioxidants, that is not lost that much. So antioxidants remain inside the honey for much longer term. But antimicrobials, they will start losing their properties. So it is better to use the honey in its first year or 2 years maybe to have the highest antimicrobial potential. But again, antioxidant, it doesn't look like it is losing its potential for several years.
Well, I want to thank you so much for joining.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
We love collaborating, clearly, and I'm so glad that we've been able to share time together over several years at this point. And just good luck to your continued journeys. Honey Pathway is awesome. Y'all can probably do some research on that if you're more interested. Again, Dr. Ozturk is from the University of Texas at San Antonio. His whole area is medicinal properties of bees. And I know he would not mind you reaching out to him, shooting an email or anything. He would love that. And again, the data, you can actually send your stuff there, but it might take a little bit of time. There's literally a backlog at this point because he has shared this so much that people are just loving it. Okay, so that's pretty incredible. Yep. So again, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me, Steve.
And I also love your piece of treatment, non-treatment. One of the great things about Hives for Heroes is we don't tell you how to beekeep. You find out your ways to beekeep. What works for you, what works for your family, what works for community, because there's a million ways to do it. All right. So you do what's best for you. be good stewards to our wonderful bees and just be happy and have a great time doing it. So thank you again.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Awesome. We have our winners today for the 2 $100 gift cards. We have Mr. John Rowe, and a familiar face, Mr. Gary Burns from California, we just saw not too long ago. So John Rowe and Gary Burns, please reach out to us at support@hivesforheroes.org, and we will get you set up. If you don't reach out to us within the next 12 to 24 hours, we're going to find you, I promise. As long as you're in the system, we will get to you. We have some amazing state leaders here as well, so we're going to do some state leader updates real quick. We're bringing Texas, Georgia, and North Carolina to the stage. We have Alden, who's our state leader in Georgia. Obviously our Connection National Director, but also currently our state of Texas, and then Matt Booth from North Carolina. Alden, why don't you shoot it off first? Unmute your mic, buddy.
There we go.
There you go.
Technology. I'm not an engineer at all. Yeah, so we're coming up on the end of the flow up here in North Georgia. Just waiting on Sourwood, should kick off here in about another, I don't know, week and a half, 2 weeks. Just watching the trees right now to see when they're starting to blossom. Everything's been going maybe a week and a half early up here this whole year. So it's been a interesting season. We just got over like a mini dearth almost. But yeah, getting ready to switch out all the boxes for Sourwood. Outside of that, just been dealing with the heat and the humidity. So
yeah, pretty hot out there for sure. It is. I think it feels like 106 or something like that in Houston right now. It is so fun getting out at 11 o'clock in the afternoon, putting on a suit and going and working the ladies.
Well, I mean, those folks up in Alaska is up there. I think it was last week. I can't remember where I was when. But yeah, it's daylight till about 1 a.m. up there. So I mean,
yeah, I just shared that with the group. You were actually able to go see one of our other state leaders, Valerie, who's up in Alaska. Her husband's Air Force, and she took over the state. And I'm glad that y'all got to get connected together.
Yeah, hopefully next time I'll be better at planning, and we'll be able to put something out there a little earlier. Shoot, I'm trying to remember what states I'm about to be in the coming weeks. Next week, I think I'm going to be in Kansas City for 2 days, beginning of the week. So if anybody's up for dinner or something, I'll be, where am I? Right around Fort Riley on Monday night. So
yeah, shoot that in the group like you did last time. Shoot it in that Facebook group page and be like, hey, is anybody out? That's how you got it last time. And that's for all of us, ladies and gentlemen. Literally, if you're in the area, I'm sure there's somebody in the group that would like to hang out, talk bees, talk shit, whatever it is. It's all good. Matt, how you doing, brother?
Trying to stay cool here in North Carolina. It's warming up. We'll be in the high 90s by the end of the week with the humidity. We've been out of our flow now here for 2 to 3 weeks on the east side of the state. So done all of our honey extraction. We might get a late summer flow potentially, but was able to take a trip last night, 2 hours to go see a great supporter of Hives for Heroes, Double B Apiary, and then their project they're doing with their hive to support Hives for Heroes and a veteran that had passed away that was one of their customers. Yeah. They've posted in the group if people are curious about what they're doing. Great, family there. And if you're in North Carolina, their classes are offered up for free. They offer up queen cells if you're in need. I think they said 3 for Hives for Heroes members. So,
I mean, there's so many amazing organizations out there that are supporting. Hooper's Creek just sent a little hive tool set up with Hives for Heroes on them. Really, really sweet. Double B. I'm telling you, that piece is so incredible that we're able to honor and support our heroes in the way that they're doing that. And then the bottles are being sold and those dollars will go back to Hives for Heroes as well. And Matt, you're doing a tremendous job out there, not only in the accessibility, but also showing up. and people are really calling your name out. We've seen a lot of posts with you taking your time and going places and just really giving a crap about people. We call it that gas model, right? The give a shit. You really do. We appreciate all our state leaders for the things that we do. And we have a lot of them on this call as well. I know that Jim and Ralph were on here for sure. I think I saw Ralph from Colorado on here as well. But just thank you so much for doing what y'all do.
And I threw in the group chat or the group page earlier today, the Keepers Hive went live today with their Indigo or however their crowdfunding thing for their if people have questions, as I've been I can give feedback, feel free to email me at North Carolina at Hives for Heroes if you have questions about it. I've been testing it some. I can give you some feedback. Watch some of their videos. I think it may be a solution for some of the accessible beekeeping if you can't lift or stand for long periods. So check out their videos. It might be something that fits for your style potentially.
Yeah, and we were able to meet them at the Bee Expo in January. Again, amazing group of people, and they're actually donating dollars back for those that are being sold as well. We love working with organizations. They know where the dollars are going, and it goes to veterans. It's incredible how much this has grown by just doing the right things. Charlie, how you doing here in Texas?
Weather's now hot. All the thistle and milkweed in my area, which were great feeders for the bees, they're all grayed out. Milkweed's blowing all over the neighborhood, so that's something for me to roll over to start pollen feeding. And I use the pollen supplement powder. Just hang a couple of those out in the backyard. That takes care of some of my feeding requirements. We got some good rain today. East Texas has really picked up and seen a whole lot of wet spots, so the bees don't have to worry about any moisture at all. They're doing well with that. I'll be at the Texas Beekeepers Association clinic in Allen, Texas this weekend. I'll be there all day Saturday for the clinic, and if anybody wants to, I should have a table, and I'll be speaking one time during the afternoon. I don't remember what time it is. It's on the schedule in, I think, the Cottonwood room.
Okay.
There at the venue for the event. One point, guys. I do have a challenge translating call signs to names. So if anybody in the remarks block or anybody at all, take your stuff from the chat, roll it over to connect at hivesforheroes.org, and I'll work on finding what's going on with your mentor, your newbie, or your, I won't say your next door neighbor, but we'll figure out what's going on. And we'll get back with you and try to take care of it. But like I said, I don't know who skunk buddy number 3 is, so we'll deal with that when we get it. Okay. Thank you.
Who's skunk buddy number 1 and 2? I mean, that's a different piece. So that's a lot there. I do want to encourage everybody, go meet your state leaders, go meet the state reps, go to these events, join your local club, go to your state stuff. It's relatively inexpensive, and you're going to go make some really, really good relationships. Shake hands, have a conversation together. Oftentimes we're going out to dinner and we're doing other stuff that is clearly bee related, but not, right? It's just life. And I guarantee you every single one of your state leaders will love to hear from you. It is super easy. We hacked the entire system. It is the first 2 letters of your designators for your state. So for Texas, it's TX at hivesforheroes.org. For North Carolina, it's NC at hivesforheroes.org. It's super easy. Reach out to them. Say hi. If you're not in the Facebook group page, there's a lot of information that goes on there as well. Gentlemen, thank you so much. I know we have a ton of other state leaders on here as well that we won't be able to get to tonight. But really, I just want to make sure that we understand, stay involved. We are absolutely better together. We talked about the needs that we have. We're not shy about it. We need more mentors, right? Continue to stay involved. We love this stuff because 2 years ago, we had a newbie, and now they're turning into mentors. So we're able to transition that, create our own mentors in the organization, and then fulfill that need in those local areas. So we have gone about 10 minutes over time, which is unintentional, but thank you so much for staying with us. Dr. Ferhat, oh my gosh, just incredible individual. Please reach out to him as well. As a side note, those 2 books were The honey, what, you have those still? Those 2 books that he mentioned were 2 Million Blessings and then The Honey Revolution. Thoughts of 4 tablespoons a day, 2 in the morning, 2 at night. Don't put them in hot beverages because you lose those medicinal properties. Freezing things is fine. It's not going to hurt your honey. And then I love this part. Crystallization is based on the pollen content inside of your honey. So all these amazing facts. He's got so much more. If you can get out to the TBA clinic, please see him. If not, reach out to him. He's got tons of presentations too by PowerPoint that you might be able to utilize at your meetings or things of that nature. I'm sure he would love to share that. So to everybody that's new, to everybody that's not, welcome to Hives for Heroes. Welcome to the family. Welcome to this network. You've truly stepped into something that we believe is very special. It's extremely unique. We're all over the place. And I truly do love also seeing, we're all wearing our gear over here. I will literally watch people in like airports and things. I'm like, holy crap, that's awesome. And easy conversation starter. That's all available at the website, which is super cool. If you choose to donate as well, that's all on the website. Y'all know where the dollars are going. 990s are coming out soon as well. So y'all be able to see where all those dollars are going. And our next meetup is July 9th at 7 CST, which is our central time, but it is the second Tuesday of the month. That will be coming out in not only our newsletter next month, but probably also, as Matt suggested, a shot of an email in a campaign so that you can see it. You can have that link, and those will be available. Please subscribe, like, comment, share. That will allow you to get the information that you need. This is our main source of communication. And then everything else is done pretty much individually through emails and or phone calls. Do not ever hesitate to reach out. Support at hivesforheroes.org. Connect at hivesforheroes.org is Charlie. And then your state 2-letter designator at hivesforheroes.org are your state leaders. I promise they will get back to you. And we are working diligently to continue to find mentors, to create mentors, and also match you with people in your local area. But please do not forget all the other resources that are on the website for you. All the local, state, national organizations, military and first responder specific organizations in case you may be having a rough patch, right? Reach out to somebody. Suicide hotlines on there. Wounded Warrior Project. Hope for the Warriors is a really awesome partner of us. They are out of Washington, D.C. They're incredible. There's so many different resources that we have available to you. And if you just want to reach out and talk to somebody, call us. Like, we're there. So thank you again for being a part of Hives for Heroes. This was our national monthly meetup. Thank you again, and y'all have a great, great evening.